my unbelief to the naked eye is admirable. What the heck? How did we even get here? How did we even get here? What's up, everyone? If you can hear the sound of my voice, you are tuned into Actually with Jordan Alexa, where perspective is on the hot seat. Here we challenge conformity and ignite insight by encouraging you to think for your own self, okay? And as much as I would love to just, get on with the spiel, the first thing we need to do is address the frog in the room. Not even the elephant. We got to address the frog. Okay? Because clearly my voice is gone. Literally, I woke up yesterday, no voice. And my husband couldn't come up to me talking about, where'd your voice go? I don't know. What you want me to do about it? I didn't just throw it away. Talk about, where'd your voice go? Like, you mad at me. So please, I say that to say, try not to get irritated with the sound of my voice. Try to stick around and be okay with what's going on. I know that it's rough. I know that I sound like Barry White. Well, I barely got a voice. I sound like Barely White. What? I sound like Barely White. And I just want for you to please stick around because I don't want my voice to scare you away. So I just wanted to go ahead and address that, all right? And so now we can get straight into it. First things first. Hey, y'all. Hey, guys, it's been a minute. It's been a minute since we talked. It's been a minute since, we've been here. Things look a little different. Not that much different, but they do look a little different. I'm a little different. We'll get into that more later. But hey, I missed y'all so much. Like, not even kidding. I love what we have here, or, our tiny little community that we have here. And I love the conversation that this show sparks. I love the insight that allows for me to gain from other people that this show allows for people to share with me. And I'm just so excited to get back to that with y'all. Like, I feel like I've been missing my boo thing or whatever. Just kidding. So, I guess we can start by talking about what's been going on this whole time since we last talked. I think the last time we talked, it was spring. And so much has happened since then, guys. Oh, my goodness. I've been so busy. Oh, my gosh. I've been so busy. I've taken several trips. I went to France, which I don't know if y'all ever heard about this thing. It's like this sickness that some people get when they go to France because they have this like fantasy about what they think France is like. And when they get there, it's not what, the romanticized version of France is. And they literally get physically ill. And I say that to say that France was a little bit ghetto. Granted, it was beautiful. I loved it. The food was amazing. Like, let me tell y'all something. I don't know what they feeding us in America, but they feeding us something wrong. Something ain't right because here I can eat 5 chips and drink some water and I'm in full. I feel like I'm about to bust. But when I'm in France, I can eat a 3-course meal and walk miles afterwards. You don't feel the same. The food tastes different. I'm going on a rant. It's fine. I went to France. I went to Minnesota, I believe. Of course, I went to the beach because, I'm going to the beach. I was busy, so busy with my business. I think this is the most successful summer that my business has had. So, woohoo! Yay, God, because it really had absolutely nothing to do with me. And so, yeah, that's basically all I've been doing. Keeping busy in my business, a little bit of traveling, a little bit of exercising, and just a whole lot of minding my business. My favorite thing to do. Other people should master it, but it's whatever. So, as I'm sitting here talking about all the things that I did and how I was traveling, and I was just so busy, I would be lying if I said, yep, so that was the reason why I wasn't around. Oh, yo. So even though this summer and this time was woo, yeah, I'm sorry. My voice. Even though this summer and this time was very busy, and very much a successful time in my life, I was very murky on the inside. Things were very I don't want to say dark because it wasn't dark, because like I've dealt with depression before, and totally like I wouldn't say that was it. But I was in a murky place. I was in a place of, well, to be completely honest, and I mean, I guess this could be what we talk about today. I was in a place of grief. And that's just what it was. And I believe that, okay, so let me try to not be all over the place, because I was experiencing multiple forms of grief at one time, but I think that the main form of grief that I was experiencing was the loss of my mom. And so I think the crazy part about all of this is, so my mom passed away in 2015, right? It's 2023. Right? And so I think that this is something that we should definitely talk about, because society doesn't even say it. The way that things are set up, it's like you got bereavement on this day. You call into work, say, hey, I'm not going to be there on Friday. Somebody passed away. And say, okay. Then you call and say, all right, can I have Monday off? That's the funeral. Even though timelines don't be moving this quick, but whatever. You say, can I have Monday off? That's a funeral. I say, okay. By Tuesday, they expect for you to be back in the office. You see what I'm saying? I feel like society, though it is not said, it is always implied. It's always pressured. It's always pushed that you need to come on. You need to get on with it. Come on, go through the motions really quickly, because we need for you to continue to show up. And not just work, just life in general. Things go on and there's a hustle and bustle, but there is not a, I don't want to say there's not a concern, but it's kind of like, it's not a like a, all right, take your time. Overall, in general. And so with that being said, this was the first year that I was emotionally aware enough to properly experience my grief. I hope that makes sense. And so I guess I could just talk a little bit about where I was when I lost my mom. And we'll make it brief because this is kind of sad. But I do feel like we don't talk about this enough, so it is what it is. So my mom passed in 2015, right? Y'all, there was so much going on in 2015. Number one, I was in college. When my mom passed away, I was going into my junior year of college. Yeah, I was going to my junior year of college, and your junior year is when you start taking your classes like in your major, right? Excuse me. So I was going to my junior year of college. Then I was involved in several like on-campus ministries. Then I was over a ministry at church, right? And so there was always something that needed to be done. And also at the same time, the people that were around me, there were people who were around me, and I feel like it was two things. A lot of times, people, when it comes to like a loss of somebody, people don't understand until they understand, right? And so it's easy to feel bad for somebody. It's easy to try to, what's the word? Is it empathize? Oh no. What's the difference between empathize and sympathize? Some days I know it, some days I don't. Oh, it's okay. It's okay to try to, like, it's different when you try to relate somebody, but it's you do not know until you know, right? So I have a friend, well, not just a friend, I say this all the time. I had a friend specifically who experienced loss as well. And something that we used to always say is, I'm not happy that you're in this boat, but I am glad that you're in this boat with me. Because you don't know until you know. It is a very lonely place to be in, right? So I feel like there's that, but I also feel like at the same time, people were scared to say anything about it, right? So it's like, people were like, how you doing? You sad? What's going on? Yeah, I'm freaking sad. And then there's also like when it comes to family and stuff like that, my family was grieving on their own because I didn't only lose my mom. People lost their sister, their cousin, their daughter, what have you, whatever. So during that time, not only wasn't there anybody to acknowledge or try to help walk me through what it was I was going through, but also at the same time, I was busy. There was always something, which at the same time, I wasn't upset about it because knowing now, having gone through what I went through now, I don't think that I would have survived the process back then, right? So with grief back then, because I wasn't in a place to acknowledge it, it was really a thing of like, I started going, all right, now y'all in my business for real now. I started going crazy a little bit, right? So I started like seeing stuff and, whatever. Like one time I was in Publix and I took off running after something. And let me tell y'all something. Y'all cannot tell me that God is not real. You can't tell me that God isn't real because even in the midst of it, and this is another thing because I feel like sometimes, especially in like the Christian community when it comes to grief, I feel like it was two-sided. It was like there are people who are like, God took your mama and you still love him. God took your mama and you still decide to praise him. God took your mama and you still decide to live a life that's committed to him. And then on the flip side is like, yeah, he did that, but it was just a thing of like ignore the grief and continue to look at God. And while there is a truth to that, it doesn't stop the grief, y'all. The grief does not stop. It does not stop. And so my thing has always been, yeah, I miss my mom and God is still good for both sides. There's a way for both of those things to exist. Yeah, I'm sad that she's not here, but God is still good. Like, it's a real thing. But I say that to say God is good. He literally kept me in that process, even though it was something I wasn't trying to actively get through, even though it's something that I wasn't trying to actively overcome. Y'all, the voice of God would literally call out to me, like verbally call my name to bring me out of places. And it's just so amazing how God will just keep you. He will literally keep you, even in the midst of me trying to avoid this thing, even in the midst of me not understanding what this thing is. Like, because another thing I say is, even though the loss of my mom was a new place and was a new experience for me, the feeling, that low feeling that I had was not new. Like, that numbness was not a new feeling. And that's because grief is more, it looks more than one way. I think a lot of times we feel like grief is just when you lose somebody and you miss them. But please hear me when I say grief is more than when you lose somebody and you miss them. Grief is when you don't get something that you thought you would have. Like, you have a vision for your life and you thought it was going to go a certain way and it doesn't go that way. Grief is when something happened in your past and you keep looking back in your past trying to, understand why this happened or why things didn't go this way or why this person didn't treat you that way. Grief shows up that way too. And the reason why I wanted to say that is because, man, I was just talking to somebody the other day and they were saying, like, I don't know why I feel this way. I keep crying. I keep doing this. I keep doing that. I said, you're grieving. You are grieving. And it's not that, you're necessarily grieving the loss of a person. Like I said, you literally have built up this person, right? So me, as Jordan Alexa, there is a Jordan Alexa that I have built, right? Or that I did build. That as long as I say that my life is submitted to God, and as long as I say that I'm committed to Him, and I commit things in my life to Him, He is constantly tearing that Jordan down. Constantly tearing her down. And there are things and decisions that I've made with that Jordan in mind, with that Jordan at the forefront. And that Jordan, man, that Jordan is a go-getter. She's ambitious. She's a whole bunch of stuff. And she has seemingly gotten me into places that are amazing, And it's not that those things aren't good, but they're not God. And I know I've said this before. Something can very well be good and not be God. So I was talking to this person the other day, and they were saying, I don't know why I feel this way. I've been going through this. I've been going through that because God asked them to leave something behind. And I was just like, you're grieving. You're literally grieving because, and this is also, y'all, I got delivered recently. I got delivered from unbelief, right? And in the process of me and for you guys who do not know what deliverance is when God frees you from something that is oppressing you. And I got free from unbelief. And my unbelief to the naked eye is admirable. What the heck? How did we even get here? How did we even get here? My unbelief to the naked eye is admirable. My strides to do certain things, my willingness to work hard. That's like when I was going through the process of deliverance, God was telling me, You need to give up your admiration of the works of your hands. Give it up. You pay too much attention and you pay too much, you give too much authority to what it is that you can do with your hands. Does it have a place? Yes. But my success, at the end of the day, I really found out that I do play a part in it, but it's not up to me, y'all. When y'all see me with success, know that if it had not been for the Lord who was on my side, please, I did not do it by myself. But my unbelief was admirable to the naked eye. And God was saying, give that up, because the reason why you work so hard is because nobody said, I'm proud of you. Nobody said, good job. Right? It was always expected, or you're doing what you're supposed to do. That's what it was. Right? So the works of my hands have now become an idolization to me. How did we get here? Anyways, the works of our hands have now become an idol, right? So there are several things that the Lord had me walk through, including grief in the things of my past, right? In this Jordan that I built up. There are several things that God made me give up, including the looking into my past frequently, right? And one of the things that I've noticed since my breakthrough, my God, is that I don't sit. Like, I literally used to sit and think, replay my past, replay my past, replay my past, replay my past, replay it. And I remember one thing God was saying was, you need to give me that little girl version of you that decided, all right, if I'm going to live, I got to take care of myself. That person that I built up is based on that little girl from my past, right? So, grief. That is another form of grief. Me sitting there and going through my past and looking at what wasn't there, what I didn't get to do. And the thing about the past is, what grief is, a lot of times when you look back, it's so hard to be grateful. It's so hard to be able to even just feel blessed, to see what it is that God has blessed you with, because all you see is your life without that thing. Or all you see is how not having that thing has affected you. Instead of being able to look at the fact that you're still here in spite of, to look at the fact that you are still getting up every single day in spite of, that is a powerful thing, y'all. That is extremely powerful, to be able to acknowledge the fact that even not in my own strength, I am weak, but I know that where I am weak, God has made strong. And I know that this thing has striving to take my peace away, but God gives peace that surpasseth all surpasseth. Is that what it says? I know that's what surpasses. Not trying to King James Version. Surpass. No, I can't even say it. Let me stop playing. God gives peace that surpasses all understanding. Right? It's a beautiful thing to be able to sit here and say, I'm still here. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all wrong for making fun of that song. That song is a bop. I don't care what nobody say. I always see the memes. I always see the videos. Let me tell y'all something. Whoever produced that song was in their bag. Have you ever sit and actually listen to that song? That is a good song. And y'all be making fun of that girl. I like that song a lot. But it is powerful. It's a beautiful thing to be able to sit here and say, I am still here in spite of. But I mean, the next thing, I guess, with that is I wasn't able to see things that way until I was able to get my own mind together. Because one thing that I know for sure is that grief is going to show up, period. It's going to rear its head, period. It's going to come up, period. But the state of your mind is what determines what you look like when it shows up, right? So like I said earlier, this year was the first year that I was actually emotionally aware enough to actually go through the process of grief. 7 whole years later, that is 7:15. I'm going to trust that it's 7. It's 5 plus, 5 plus 8. 8 years. Yeah. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 8 years later. Finally able to go through the process. Because like I said earlier, distracted by ministry, distracted by school, and as you know, the years have gone on, distracted by being newly married, distracted by friend drama. Never mind, I ain't gonna say nothing. Ain't gonna go on a tangent on that. Just distracted by a whole bunch of stuff. Distracted by financial woes. So this is the first year that none of those things were present, right? Even though I still had things going on, none of those things that really were just bogging me down were present. And it was this year's the first time that I was literally forced to sit with myself. This year was the first year where I was able to sit down and not be, right? Because that's just the way my mind works. Because so I feel like the way my mind works is the reason why. So I'm big on problem solving, right? I've always been told you're a quick problem solver. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a cartoon and they're in a problem and then the cartoon character be like, duh, duh, duh. And then they figure it out so quickly and you're like, there's no way they figured out the answer to the problem that quick. That's how my mind works. And I feel like that same way my mind works is what makes me prone to anxiety, is what makes me prone to, at the time when grief showed up, the way I would tumble, the way I used to tumble. I used to go down bad. I used to be down bad. So I'm going on a tangent again. Sorry. How your mind is, the state of your mind, will determine what you look like when grief shows up. So, this is the first year I've been emotionally aware to be able to even acknowledge grief. And my mind wasn't right. I was not, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, the way my mind works is and then sometimes I'll be talking to my husband, he be like, well, stop doing that. I just can't stop doing that. That's how I'm made, that's how I'm wired. And so the very way that when I'm healthy, my mind is able to do things quickly, I process things quickly, I'm very smart, I'm very witty, I'm very quick on my feet, is the same reason when I'm not well in my mind, things go down the way that they do. So the very reason, the very thing that causes your mind to be this, especially as a creative. I say this all the time. because you're creative. If you don't deal with something, your mind will take a small thought and make a whole universe of issues. I'm telling you. You just make stuff up. So the very reason why my mind is, wow, your mind is great. It's just like, wow, you're struggling and this is real bad. You are down bad. So the state that your mind is in will determine what you look like when grief shows up, because it is going to show up. It is going to show up. Right? And some examples are like, I was walking one day and my favorite color is green. And one of my favorite things to do is just look at trees. And so it had just rained. I love the way trees look when it just rained. And I was just looking at the trees and I was in this moment of like admiration for God. I was like, oh my God, these trees are so beautiful, whatever. And a car rides by, and it's literally the exact same car that my mom had. And the thing about my mom's car is it was a specific color. It was this color, it was brown, and it looked black. And you couldn't tell that it was brown until the sun hit it. And so I'm having this amazing moment and thinking about how good God is and how he created trees. And oh my God, he's so big. He created all this stuff. He created me, that whole spiel, whatever. This car drives by, the sun hits it, I see a flash of brown, grief showed up. And just like that, the rest of the day was bad. The rest of the day was shot down because my mind was not right. I was not right in my mind. Another thing is, like, sometimes, because of the way my childhood was, I had to grow up very fast. It was not a choice for me to grow up. I had to grow up very quickly. A point of grief sometimes when grief decides to show up is if I'm watching children play. I see how innocent they are. I see how they have no care in the world. I see how life is just amazing, blah, 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 and immediately I get taken back to how that wasn't the case for myself. Grief showed up. It showed up because that's my experience. And it showed up. And so automatically my mind is going to go there. If my mind is not right, y'all, if your mind is sick, and so I guess what we could talk about now is, little girlfriend, how do you get your mind right? Oh, goodness. How do you get your mind right? First and foremost, the question I would ask, have you tried Jesus? And it seems like oh my God, that's so annoying. You're literally talking about mental health problems and you're bringing up Jesus. Let me tell you something. Ain't no way I could get to where I am today without my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. As hard as my tea. Ain't no way that I could get to where I am today without my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. It's just not. There have literally been times where I sit and, now when those moments of grief show up, I'm like, oh, God, I feel like this. I immediately turn to God about, oh, God, I feel like this. And when I tell you, he's so open to just, well, it's because of this, it's because of that, it's because of this. There's so much freedom. Don't get me wrong. I believe in therapy. I believe in counseling. I've had to get it. I believe in it. But there ain't nothing like the hand of God. I'm trying to tell you. And God is not upset because God is not upset because you're grieving. Whether it's a person, whether it's a situation, he's not upset with that, guys. I promise you. I was just talking to somebody the other day, and they were saying, like, I feel like when this happens, God looks at me like I'm stupid. Please. He's not fazed at all. I was talking to somebody else one time. They said they lost a friend. They said, I know I should be over this by now. You lost a friend. And we were having a conversation about God. I should be over this by now. I shouldn't still be sad. I shouldn't still be feeling this way. Friend, you lost your friend. And who better to go to? You steady trying to get yourself together and get rid of these emotions. I shouldn't feel this way. I shouldn't still miss this person. I still shouldn't want to do this. I shouldn't feel like I should be over here. I still shouldn't want this. I see you're trying to put yourself together, and it's like, all right, God, I don't want to. And I'm talking about myself because I was doing this. All right, God, I don't want to offend you. Sorry. That's crazy. You don't want to offend God. The very thing that a God who created relationship is not offended by is when a person is missing from that relationship. The very God who created hope is not going to be offended by the feeling of hopelessness. He's not. If he created relationships, if he created hope, if he created all these things that, I'm trying to be this way, I'm trying to feel this way, I'm trying to do. Why would we not go to him? Why would we not go to him? Why would you not seek him? Why would you not pray? Why would you not just sit and have a conversation with him? Why would you not just ask and say, God, show me? Especially when it comes to grief of like losing things or people or the way things used to be, or even me, something I'm going through right now. Now I'm newly delivered from unbelief as of last week. The urge to pick up things and go back into survival mode it's live, baby. It is real. It is so real. But just like deliverance can be a moment and a manifestation, deliverance is also a process. Grief is a process. I don't care what nobody say. I'm always going to miss my mom. Especially losing her at 20 years old. Every time I experience a different milestone, it's another level of missing her. When I graduated college, when I got married, when I have children, even started my own business, like it's always moments where it's like, dang, she not here. I take it to God. I've done counseling, guys. I've done therapy, and it does help to be able to talk through things, and it does help to be able to even just hear your thoughts outside of your own mind and have somebody repeat or to give another perspective to you. Because I'm a big advocate I don't believe in self-help. I cannot help myself. This is the same mind that is in me. I'm going to try to change my mind with the sick mind? No. So I believe in therapy. I believe in counseling. But I believe in Jesus. I believe in the healing power of Jesus. I believe in the restoration of Jesus. I believe in the renewal of the mind from the hand of Jesus Christ. I believe that the blood of Jesus is real. I believe that the power of God is real. I believe it. I believe in it. Now, I don't even know why I'm talking about grief. Of course. Okay. So I started off by talking about grief by, talking to you guys about where I've been and, what I've been doing. But what I will say is I've noticed a lot of people walking in bitterness, walking in unforgiveness, walking in hopelessness, walking in just not being sorry, I just ripped my jeans in my hands. Just not living in their whole selves. And as being somebody who has experiences it, and is learning how to deal with it, I've realized that a lot of people are grieving. They're grieving. Loss sucks. And in life, you experience a lot of loss. Life be life, y'all. Even you think about us as a society coming out of COVID, there is a lingering of grief in the midst of people. We don't realize it. Nobody wants to acknowledge it. We were losing millions of people. I was a teacher, guys, during the pandemic. You'd be surprised at how many children continuously bring up their mortality over and over again. It's to the point now where it's just like it's a fleeting conversation. They talk about death constantly. It's grief. And I just feel like we have to acknowledge that loss. Well, first, we have to acknowledge. Because a lot of times when you experience loss, you experience the loss of someone or something, the very thing we try to do is ignore it. It is what it is. How many people have it is what it is mentality? Yeah. That's literally an issue. That's literally a problem. Granted, sometimes it is what it is. Like when you can leave stuff where it is and it's just like, whatever. Then it is what it is. But when it comes to your mind and your emotions and regulating those things, it can't be it is what it is. And that goes beyond grief. Pay attention to yourself. Pay attention to your habits. Pay attention to the things that you say. A lot of the things that we do are rooted in pain. I don't even know why I'm saying this. A lot of the things that we do are rooted in pain. And it's so much so that we believe that that's just who we are. And it's not. I even believe sarcasm is rooted in pain. How I know I'm very sarcastic. But I don't know if you ever heard, like, they say, like, comedians, even though they make people laugh, they're hilarious. They experience a lot of pain. Pay attention to yourself. Not only acknowledge, pay attention to yourself. Be willing to make a change. Be willing to say, I deserve to be able to experience life in its fullness. I do. Pain is going to be there. Grief is going to be there. Yeah. I deserve to be able to experience life in its fullness. Life is hard. Life is ghetto. But two things can be true at the same time. Life is also beautiful. And it's something that is meant to be experienced. And a lot of times, when I see people and I talk to them, I have this vision of them locked away in a dark room. And the person that is talking to me is walking around outside, right? And they're in this dark room looking through blinds, watching that person walk around. And the person that's in the dark room is their true self. The person that's in the dark room is their true self that got locked away, that got told to be quiet, that got told, oh, you can't feel this way. You're being too emotional. You gotta calm that down. That's the person that's locked away watching the robot you made live life. What am I talking about? And I believe that even in the midst of all of it, that person deserves to not be locked away in that dark room. You deserve to not be an autopilot. You deserve not to experience the fullness of life. And don't get me wrong, once again, it is a process. It is a process. Some days you're up, some days you're down. Some days you can look at the situation and say, that's why. Some days you get swallowed up. And that doesn't mean you stop fighting. And that doesn't mean that you stop trying to see the good in life. What? Don't stop fighting to see the good in life. Because it's there. It's there. And it's waiting for you to embrace it with open arms. I don't even know why I went on that tangent. I wasn't even expecting to have this conversation, but if you're somebody who's experienced grief or experiencing grief or whatever, hit me up. Whether that be the loss of somebody, the loss of an idea, the loss of a I'm experiencing grief right now. I won't go into detail about it, but I'm experiencing grief as it pertains to like something that I worked hard for and I thought was gonna, whatever, and put years of hard work into it, and now it's over. Let's talk about it. We can have a conversation about it. So yeah, I don't even know where to end because I didn't expect to go here. But I'm going to stop because that my voice is gone. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. I'm so happy to be back. Can't wait to talk to you guys. Can't wait to have conversation. Hit me up. So ready. I love you guys so much. And I'm about to say, keep hope alive. Continue to fight to see the good. Continue to fight for yourself. And to be able to willingly say, I want to experience the fullness of life by all means necessary. Okay? Alrighty, well, I love you guys so much. I'll see you next time. This has been Actually with Joy and Alexa. Bye.